Bolliger Mabillard, or B&M for short, sorry I just had to do that, is a staple manufacturer of the coaster industry. This company is notorious for its reliability and perfect track record, and what comes with these amazing perks is a very hefty price tag. B&M is mainly known for their multi-loopers. 8 out of 10 of their models come with inversions, and a good amount of them hit the nice number of 7. In today's video, we will be ranking all 10 models that B&M has to offer, including a prediction of where the surf coaster lies in their rankings. In last place in the number 10 spot is their family inverted model. There have only been 2 of these coasters established so far, both of them being in China at 2 different parks both named Happy Valley. One of them has a really good white and blue color palette and is called Ocean Adventures, and the other is really ugly red and yellow, and for now it doesn't have a listed name. Both of these are clones of each other. I think it's really cool to see B&M's big bulky track on a family coaster. It kinda looks out of place yet fits in perfectly. The trains on this model seat 2 across and have the vest restraint without a vest, if that makes sense. You have the lap bar that comes down from over the shoulder and the bulky bars to the sides, but you don't have that hard rubber vest that comes down over your shoulder. Overall, this looks to have a pretty smooth and forceless ride experience, but it will be a while until we can check for sure. Up at the number 9 spot, we have the standing coaster. Personally, I hate standing coasters, and I would have ranked it in the 10th spot, but Flashwing said no, so here we are. The stand-up coaster was one of the first models and a really popular gimmick at the time. For a standing coaster, they have pulled it off pretty nicely, I guess. They have managed to make an intense experience with a lot of inversions while you're standing on the train. I've only ridden one standing coaster, that being Riddler's Revenge at Six Flags Magic Mountain, and the one ride I got didn't really do me justice. Back row, empty train, a little woozy from previous rides, and as soon as I hit the first drop, I wanted to get off. I didn't have any complaints with headbanging like other people have experienced. I just locked the stand-up restraint a little too high, and it being in between my legs makes it a super uncomfortable ride experience. That combined with me not liking multi-loopers in general makes this model really low for me. In the number 8 spot, I am predicting that the surf coaster will end up here. I dislike the stand-up model because of its uncomfortability. I really hope that B&M has learned from their prior designs and has revitalized the stand-up in more ways than one. This surf coaster looks to have a really good layout with what even looks to be like some airtime moments. I also really love launch coasters, and this is one of the few B&M models that has the capability to do this. I really hope the ride experience is a lot more comfortable and smoother, and if executed correctly, I think this model can become really popular. My one complaint about this is the 2 across seating. B&M is notorious for the capacity for containing rows of 4, and I don't think the 2 across will inhibit their ride experience or operations too much. It's just weird to see them moving away from their typical designs. Another thing to note is that B&M trains and track look heavy and are heavy. I don't see any of their models pulling fast whippy inversions or forceful launches. I think at best the surf coaster will just be an improved stand-up. In the number 7 spot, and this may come as a surprise to you all, I am putting the Floorless model here. The Floorless, let's just say, is not great. I do not like multi-loopers as much as other enthusiasts, and that sparks my dissatisfaction with this model. The fact that the track is right under you does not really add a whole much to the ride either. There is a reason that I rank the sit-down way above this, and I will get into that later. It also does not help that the only Floorless I've ridden is Scream, and according to Airtime Thrills, is a rough parking lot coaster, though even in the back row I did not find it to be horribly rough and found it to be somewhat tolerable. This model is not terrible, I just feel that B&M models above this are a step above what this model can achieve. Up at the number 6 spot is the dive coaster. In my time browsing r/rollercoasters and r/rollercoasterjerk, this model gets a lot of hate, and the comments are valid. This is often referred to as a one-trick pony, as the first drop is the only really interesting element of the ride. I can agree with this, though I have only ridden one dive coaster. The holding brake scares the crap out of the GP, but as an enthusiast you become numb to this element, and it's nothing really special. Besides this, you have the first drop, which could provide some airtime along with the drop off the mid-course if it has one. The rest of the layout I would say is similar to a Floorless with a whole bunch of inversions. This is a more graceful ride and not so whippy. The dive model has only 3 rows, and I generally enjoy the front a lot more. Despite popular opinion, I still think this model has room to grow. I might be pulling a theme park predictions here, but I can totally see B&M building a Giga dive coaster. They're already in the hypercoaster range, so I'm just gonna wait and see how many feet they can tack onto this model. In the number 5 spot, we have the sit down. Like I said before, I'm not a huge fan of multi-loopers or intensity. I am really weird, and this model generally has both of these and a good amount of it. However, I am able to recognize that some of B&M's finest work has come from this model. Hulk, Kumba, and Dragon Con are all top tier coasters and deserve all the recognition they get. The sit-down model has been hindered down by the Floorless, as a lot of the park opts to get a Floorless model over the sit-down. However, I strongly believe that the sit-down is truly the better model. The next 4 models I all thoroughly enjoy, but in the number 4 spot, I'm going to have to give it to the wing coaster. The gimmick of being on the side of the track gives a strong feeling of freedom and a sense of vulnerability. This combined with amazing near-miss opportunities makes it a top tier model and is the reason why it's so popular. The wing overdrops look to be so cool, and the graceful inversions also seem like really cool elements. Additionally, this model has the capability to launch with LSMs, as seen in Thunderbird, and this model is eye candy and looks amazing from all out. The main coaster is a really cool model and gives you a sense of freedom along with some of the best near elements in the world, which gives it the number 4 spot. Now I really love flying coasters, and that's the reason it beats the wing model. The number 3 spot goes to the Flyers. The one flying coaster that I have rode is Tatsu, and it is one of the best ones, only behind Flying Dinosaur. I love the graceful transitions, the graceful turns, and the graceful elements. I love the feeling of flying, and the trains are pretty comfortable despite you lying down on your stomach. These rides also contain the notorious pretzel loops. Now I'm not a huge fan of these, but enthusiasts absolutely crave this element. This is one of the most intense elements on a coaster, as you are pinned on your back delivered with strong, sustained positive Gs. This is yet another strong perk of flying coasters. The one complaint I have is operations tend to be a tad bit slower on these, mainly because all the moving parts and the restraints. Maybe it was because of having a Six Flags day on Tatsu, but I think the operations are not too optimized for flying coasters. Despite that, I think the flying coaster is a great gimmick and a great model, and it's some of B&M's coolest work. In the number 2 spot, I have to give it to the inverted model. This model was seriously a pioneer of its time and set the course of history in the coaster world. The inverted coaster model are some of the most intense coasters you have. There's a strong presence of positive Gs, as this coaster whips through its layout like no other. Unfortunately, the Batman clone of Magic Mountain has been closed ever since I have become a thoosy, and only got to ride one of the weaker inverts, which is Silver Bullet. Despite this, I still enjoy this model greatly and see the impact that has made on the coaster world. The delivery of high intensity with whippy elements and positive Gs shows the mark that B&M has made on the coasters with this model. In the number 1 spot is the Mega Hyper or Giga Coaster. These are all the same ride systems, so it's the same model, it's just the heights that set them apart. If you look at the top coasters in the world, Fury 325, Shambhala, Mako, and Orion are all top tier elite coasters. This is a more unconventional style for B&M, as the model does not contain inversions but has a really good amount of airtime. B&M mainly relies on camelbacks and big drops for sustained airtime and forceful turnarounds. This is the reason these coasters are elite. They live up to the height that they get, and they truly please the crowds. This combined with their high capacity makes them a massive people eater, and makes sense why this model has such a high price tag and is so popular amongst thoosies and the general public. My dreams have been absolutely crushed now that NOS is no longer getting a Giga, let alone a Hyper, but I cannot wait to go out and explore the world riding these massive beasts. Let me know if you agree with these rankings in the comment section below, and as always, make sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for listening to my TED Talk, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!